There are moments in life when the human heart feels weary, when prayers seem unanswered and the heavens appear silent. Yet, in those very moments, there is something stirring in the unseen. Before the greatest blessings are poured into your life, there are signs, gentle whispers of heaven, reminders that you are standing at the edge of something extraordinary. The first sign is the breaking. Many times before the dawn of a blessing, there comes a season of deep testing. It may feel as though everything is being stripped away. Your strength, your resources, even your confidence. But the breaking is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to empty you, so that there is room for something greater. Just when you feel weakest, a divine strength begins to rise within you, and you discover that the breaking was preparing you for the blessing. There comes a moment in the journey of every soul where life seems to unravel. Everything that once felt secure begins to slip through your hands. The friendships you leaned on begin to fade. Opportunities you thought were certain suddenly vanish, and the plans you built so carefully fall apart right before your eyes. You begin to wonder, why must I walk through this valley? Why must my heart be broken, my strength taken, my spirit crushed? And yet, it is in this very place that the breaking becomes the tool of preparation. The breaking does not come to destroy you. It comes to shape you. It is the hand of the potter pressing against the clay, molding and remolding until the vessel is ready to carry something far greater than it ever could in its unshaped form. In the breaking, there is pain, yes, but there is also purpose. The heart cries out, I cannot endure another day. But the spirit whispers, you were never meant to carry this on your own. The breaking strips away pride. It strips away the false securities. It strips away the things you thought you could not live without, until all that remains is dependence. Dependence on something far higher. Dependence on strength that does not come from you. And in those lonely nights, when tears become your only companion, the breaking begins to carve out room in your soul. You see, when life is full of noise, full of clutter, full of self, there is little space for the extraordinary. The breaking is heaven's way of making space. Every loss, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer is not a denial, but an invitation to trust, to believe that what is coming is far greater than what has been taken away. Think of a seed planted deep in the ground. It must first be buried, unseen, hidden in darkness. The shell must crack, the seed must break apart before new life can push through the soil. Without the breaking, there is no growth. Without the breaking, there is no harvest. So it is with the soul. The breaking is not your end, it is your beginning. It is not your defeat, it is your preparation for victory. And though it feels unbearable, though it feels endless, one day you will look back and understand. You will see that the breaking was the doorway. You will realize that the blessing you now hold could never have been carried in the vessel you once were. The breaking enlarged your capacity, deepened your faith, and drew you closer to the only one who could carry you through. Oh, do not despise the breaking. For even in the tears, even in the silence, even in the ache of your heart, something divine is at work. And when the blessing comes, you will see that the breaking was never to harm you. It was to prepare you for glory beyond anything you imagined. There are times when you cannot explain what is happening within you. Everything on the outside looks the same. The routine of life continues as always. Yet deep inside your spirit there is a stirring. It is not something you can describe in detail, not something you can prove to anyone, but you know it is real. It is as though heaven is whispering to you, calling you to attention, telling you that something is shifting. You may wake in the middle of the night with an unexplainable sense of expectation. You may find yourself restless, not because of worry or fear, but because you know there is more coming than what your eyes can presently see. This stirring is not born of the flesh, nor does it rise from human reasoning. It is the gentle move of the Spirit, preparing your heart for what lies ahead. Often, this stirring feels like a holy discomfort. You can no longer find satisfaction in the things that once pleased you. The conversations you once entertained no longer carry weight. The pursuits you once chased after begin to lose their flavor. It is as though your spirit is pulling away from the temporary in order to make room for the eternal. This is not always easy, for people around you may not understand. They may see you withdrawing, becoming quiet, turning inward, but what they cannot see is that something greater is awakening in your spirit. It is the gentle drawing of destiny, aligning you for the blessing that has already been prepared. In this stirring, faith begins to rise in ways you cannot explain. Doubt may whisper in your ear, Circumstances may appear unchanged, but inside, there is an unshakable conviction that something is about to break open. The stirring keeps you standing when everything in the natural tells you to sit down. The stirring makes you hold on when everything in you wants to let go. It is heaven's way of saying, do not stop now. Do not give up. You are closer than you think. This stirring often comes with a heightened sensitivity. You find yourself more aware of the small things, moments of grace, sudden thoughts of encouragement, whispers of direction. The things you might have once overlooked suddenly carry meaning. This is how the Spirit prepares you, by fine-tuning your ear, by opening your eyes, by sensitizing your heart to notice what others miss. For when the blessing comes, you must be ready to recognize it, and the stirring ensures that you will. Though the stirring can feel uncertain, though it can even make you restless, it is not there to trouble you, but to prepare you. It is the announcement that the unseen is about to become seen. It is the signal that the waiting is not in vain. It is the whisper that the breakthrough is nearer than you ever imagined. And though you may not yet hold the blessing in your hands, the stirring in your spirit is proof that it is already on its way. Just before the greatest blessings of life unfold, the resistance often grows stronger. The pressure intensifies, the obstacles multiply, and you may even begin to wonder if you have taken a wrong turn. There are moments when it feels as though everything is fighting against you, as though every door is closing and every step forward is met with 2 steps back. But what many fail to see is that this very resistance is not a sign of defeat. It is the clearest sign that breakthrough is near. The closer you come to the edge of the promise, the more furious the opposition becomes, because the enemy knows what you are about to step into. Resistance is the storm that comes before the calm. It is the battle that precedes the victory. Often, when the blessing is right at the door, circumstances begin to shake violently around you. Relationships may be tested. Finances may grow tighter, health may falter, and doubts may crowd the mind. You may even hear the whispers of discouragement telling you to stop believing, to give up, to walk away. But this resistance is not there to destroy you. It is there to refine you. It is there to strengthen your resolve and prove that your faith is not rooted in what you see, but in what you know deep within your spirit. There is a reason why the darkest night often comes just before the dawn. That darkness is not permanent. It is the last desperate attempt to keep the light from breaking through. In the same way, the resistance you face before a blessing is the final attempt to keep you from stepping into all that has been prepared for you. If you surrender to the weight of resistance, you may miss what was waiting on the other side. But if you endure, if you hold fast, if you keep pressing through, you will discover that the resistance was only proof that you were already standing at the threshold of your miracle. This resistance can also come through people. There will be those who doubt you, those who misunderstand you, those who rise against you without cause. Their words may sting, their actions may wound, but even this is part of the resistance. For the blessing you are about to receive is not meant to be shared with everyone, and sometimes the opposition of others is the separation that makes room for the right people to walk with you into the next season. In those moments when everything seems to rise against you, lift your eyes higher. Do not focus on the battle, focus on the promise. The resistance is loud, but it is temporary. It is fierce, but it is fleeting. It is painful, but it is not permanent. Endure it, for it is the final sign that the blessing is near. And when you look back, you will realize that the resistance did not come to block your path. It came to announce that the door you had been waiting for was about to open. Each sign that comes before a blessing carries with it an invitation. And perhaps none is more vital than the call to trust. When everything around you looks uncertain, when the path ahead is hidden, and when nothing seems to be working in your favor, you are given the choice either to lean on your own understanding or to trust with all your heart. Trust is not easy because trust asks you to let go of control. It asks you to place into unseen hands the very things you long to hold tightly. And yet, trust is the bridge between the breaking and the blessing. Without it, the journey cannot be completed. There will be moments when you cannot see any evidence of change. You may pray and heaven feels silent. You may believe and still the circumstances appear the same. This is where trust becomes more than a word, it becomes a lifeline. Trust says, though I do not see, I still believe. Though I cannot trace the hand, I will trust the heart behind it. It is in this place that your faith is proven genuine. Not because everything is going well, but because even in the absence of visible proof, you choose to stand. Trust requires surrender. It requires loosening your grip on the outcome and allowing divine wisdom to guide the way. You see, blessings are not always delivered in the way we imagine. Sometimes they come wrapped in difficulty, sometimes hidden behind delays, sometimes disguised as disappointment. Without trust, you will be tempted to walk away too soon, to abandon the process, to settle for less than what has been prepared for you. But when trust takes root in your soul, you begin to realize that every delay has purpose, every detour has meaning, and every unanswered prayer is not a rejection, but a redirection. This call to trust is not passive. It is an active choice made daily. It is choosing to wake up each morning and place your day in the hands of one who knows the end from the beginning. It is choosing to silence the voice of fear that says you are forgotten and instead listen to the quiet assurance that nothing has been overlooked. Trust keeps you moving forward when everything in you wants to stop. Trust allows peace to guard your heart when the storm is raging around you. And though the journey through trust is often lonely, it is never empty. For in learning to trust, you discover a strength you never knew you had. You find courage rising in the face of fear, hope shining in the middle of despair, and faith deepening in the silence of waiting. Trust transforms the breaking into preparation, the stirring into confirmation, and the resistance into proof. Trust is the anchor that holds you steady until the blessing comes into full view. There comes a moment, after all the tears have been cried and all the prayers whispered in the night, when you realize that what is being prepared for you is so much greater than you ever dared to imagine. The human mind sets limits. It envisions outcomes according to what it knows, according to past experiences, according to what feels reasonable. But the blessings that await you are never confined to the borders of human imagination. They are wider, deeper, richer than anything you have pictured. You thought you were asking for a small door to open, but what is waiting is an entire path leading you into a destiny beyond your understanding. So often, the heart longs for restoration in a particular form. You may pray for the return of something lost, for the healing of something broken, for the recovery of something that slipped through your hands. But when the blessing finally arrives, you will see that it was never about returning to what once was. It was always about lifting you into something greater. The past was preparation, not the destination. What is coming does not simply replace what was taken. It surpasses it. When the greater blessing comes, it makes sense of the waiting, the nights of uncertainty, the seasons of silence, the breaking that felt unbearable. All of it comes into focus. You realize that if the blessing had come sooner, you would not have been ready to hold it. If it had been smaller, you would not have needed the preparation. The very weight of the blessing demanded the weight of the process. And though the process was painful, the outcome proves it was worth it all. The greatness of the blessing is not measured only by what you receive, but by what it does within you. It enlarges your heart, deepens your gratitude, and humbles your spirit. You cannot take credit for it because you know it was not your doing. It is beyond your striving, beyond your planning, beyond your deserving. That is why it brings tears to your eyes and awe to your soul. It reminds you that you are seen, you are known, and you are loved far more than you realized. And when it arrives, it does not only bless you, it spills over into the lives of those around you. It becomes a testimony, a living witness that what seemed impossible was not impossible at all. Others look at your life and see the evidence that waiting is not in vain, that trust is not wasted, that resistance does not mean defeat. The blessing becomes a light, a beacon of hope, showing others that what has been done for you can be done for them too. So do not limit your expectation. Do not settle for less than what has been prepared, for what is coming will not be ordinary. It will not be small. It will exceed your imagination and overflow into every part of your life until you can only bow your head and whisper, "Was worth the wait." When the blessing finally arrives, it carries with it a weight of glory far beyond what the human heart can fully grasp. It does not slip quietly into your life. It comes as a flood that overflows every dry place, filling the empty spaces left by years of longing. You find yourself standing in awe, unable to hold back the tears, because what you see before you is greater than the dream you once held in your heart. The blessing is not ordinary, it is abundant. It is not partial, it is complete. It does not simply meet your need, it goes beyond your need and touches the deepest desires you scarcely dared to voice. There is something remarkable about the way the blessing arrives. It comes not in the timing you expected, nor in the form you imagined. You may have thought it would come through one door, but it arrives through another, more unexpected path. And in that surprise, you discover that heaven's wisdom is far greater than human plans. What you once considered delays were, in truth, preparations. What you once thought was silence was, in reality, orchestration. The waiting was not wasted. It was setting the stage for the magnitude of what was coming. And when the blessing settles upon your life, it carries a fragrance of grace. You know it is not something you earned, for all your effort could never have produced it. You know it is not something you manufactured, for no amount of striving could have created it. You hold it with trembling hands because it is pure gift, undeserved and overwhelming. It humbles you. It silences the pride of your own strength and magnifies the greatness of what has been given. This blessing, so much larger than you, does not remain contained within you. It spills over. It touches your family, your friends, even strangers who watch from a distance. They see the evidence of what has happened, and hope stirs within them. Your life becomes a testimony, a living declaration that waiting is not wasted, that pain is not pointless, that trust is never in vain. Others begin to believe again, not because of words spoken, but because of the visible fruit of what you have received. And the most beautiful truth of all is that this blessing becomes a beginning rather than an end. It does not mark the closing of your journey, but the unfolding of a greater purpose. You realize that the blessing was never only about you. It was always about something larger, something eternal. It was about transforming you in the process, so that when the abundance came, you would carry it with humility, gratitude, and grace. So when it arrives, you cannot help but bow your head in wonder. You cannot help but lift your heart in gratitude. For the blessing is not just what you hold in your hands, it is who you have become in the waiting. It is the enlargement of your soul, the deepening of your faith, and the undeniable proof that what was promised has been fulfilled in a way far greater than you could have ever dreamed.